Act 2. This blog entry is also dedicated to a fallen friend, Ernest H. He viscerally took his own life earlier in November, and who knows the spiking level of separation and oppression that ricocheted within his mental capacities, his thought processes. He was an educator, a spirited, gifted young man who put an end towards his own vast potential for possibilities. By taking one's life, one must have convinced themselves of zero pathways for opportunity, zero outlets for expressing inner turmoil. Those who are obviously not able to earn a decent wage, a decent living, and take care of medical costs, they deal with natural disadvantages towards opportunity, which is usually put on a spin for certain people who are on a certain right-wing agenda. They just want them to die. As such, you can listen in here.
Let me ask you this hypothetical question. A healthy 30-year-old young man has a good job, makes a good living, but decides, you know what, I'm not going to spend $200 or $300 a month for health insurance because I'm healthy, I don't need it. But, something terrible happens. All of a sudden, he needs it. Who's going to pay for if he goes into a coma, for example?
He would have a major medical policy, but not before.
But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have it, and he needs intensive care for 6 months. Who pays?
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risks. This whole idea.
But Congressman, are you saying the society should just let him die?
No. I practiced medicine before we had Medicaid in the early 1960s when I got out of medical school. I practiced at Santa Rosa Hospital in San Antonio, and the churches took care of him.
Ultimately, these individuals are attributable benefactors of the superstructure's true intention, a network of separatist ideals that stand to preserve class superiority by any demonstrative means necessary. And a detailed explanation of this perspective can be found in a previous entry of mine on my blog titled Starve the Beast, The American Way and Superstructure of Class Destruction. This is Act 3. So, class superiority, which is the mythology the members of the GOP and like conservatives have generationally lusted for throughout humankind. It's actually the greatest and most elaborate joke I've ever witnessed, and just waiting to see when someone's going to peek their head from behind the curtain with a devilish grin on their face. After all, funneling more presidential potential towards Herman Cain would allow the corporate/government cohabitation to fester and replicate into uncharted territories. Our liberties and American way of life will be stripped away one by one at dizzying speeds, much akin to the benefits and bonuses and activities that are being stripped away at your long-standing practices of employment. Obviously. Yep, so Herman Cain and his cohorts are making their wet dreams come into reality by undercutting the employees and workers in order to hoard and disseminate later. This Uncle Tom bait-and-switch maneuver has and will be another example of separate but equal intricacies, quite possibly originating by allowing a centrist politician with African roots to gain the covenant mantle of president, United States president, a means to gently massage the mechanics of social polarization within the membrane of social consciousness. Much like a virus spreading its RNA genetic code onto its host, Americans for Prosperity will allow Herman Cain to spew his hateful and divisive business practices. So yeah, dance Herman Cain, dance. Keep dancing that dance until they run out of quarters to fill your tin cup. The novelty will wear off soon enough, and you'll have to learn a new routine to entertain the bored and the privileged. That concludes this topic of Herman Cain, the organ grinder monkey. Closing out. These closing remarks are accompanied with a track by composer Nobuyoshi Sano of the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. And in closing, Evil for All Time, Modern Marxists Making Momentum. In this place, sexual entitlements do not belong here. State and country does not contain power. Religious dogma will not shackle nor restrain. Humans must come together on an intellectual front to erode the perils of traditionalism that's creating many metaphysical divides. Sarcasm, encouragement, and progression are all the elements welcome here. Thank you for your time. Stay safe. Ken Neal out.